Welcome to another video. Today's topic is surds. So, first question. Square root of 20 plus square root of 40. So, we start off by simplifying, okay? First of all, to simplify it, you have to find a number which you can square inside the root. So 20, for example, 20 is 4 times 5. Okay, you can convert that into 4 times 5. Same thing with 40. You can convert that with 4 times 10. And now because you got the 4 here, 4 times 5, square root of 4 times 5, which is like saying square root 20, is like saying square root 4 times square root 5. And then you can solve 4, which becomes square root 4 is 2, so then it becomes 2 square root 5. So if you do that with both of these, you can simplify it further. So square root 4 times 5, which is 2 square root 5, and then plus 2 square root 10. You can actually further simplify this even more. Okay, so from 2 square root 5 plus 2 square root 10, you could do this. 2 square root 5 plus 2 square root 2 times 5. Okay, and then 2 square root 5 plus 2 square root 5 square root 2. Okay, and then you take out a common factor, which is 2 square root 5 bracket 1 plus square root 2. Very easy, very simple. And this is the ultimate simplified method. Okay, this would be correct, but this is super simplified. You know what I mean? Next question. Multiplying surds. Adding, multiplying, subtracting surds, they're all quite similar. Okay, I didn't add too many addition questions because they're very simple and easy. Okay, now with multiplying, 2 square root 5 times 3 square root 5. So what you do is here you just 2 square root 5 times 3 square root 5 equals 6 square root 25. Square root 25 equals 5. So 6 times 5, so 30. That's your answer. Next question. Square root 72 times square root 90. So you can have 8 times 9, for example. And then times square root 9 times 10. Okay? And then you can simplify even further. Sometimes it's a bit hard to figure out on your first go. So 4 times 2 and then times 9. Which is all that times 3 square root 10. Because you took out the 9, you squared the 9, and then it becomes 3. And then simplify this one as well, which becomes 2 times 3. You took out the 4 and you took out the 9. And then times square root 2 times 3 square root 10. This then becomes 6 square root 2 times 3 square root 10. And then from there, 18 square root 20. Then you can simplify even further. Yeah, I know this is a lot of steps, but there are many ways of doing it. I'm just breaking it down for you, so this might appear long, but for you it will be very quick. So 18 square root 20 becomes 18 square root 4 times 5, which then becomes 18 times 2 times square root 5, which is 36 square root 5. 4 square root 10 times 3 square root 10. So now, if you square root two identical surds, they become the number that is squared. So in this case, square root 10 times square root 10 will become 10. 4 times 3 will become 12. So 12 times 10. Okay? Square root 10 times square root 10 is 10, and 4 times 3 is 12. So the answer is 120. Next slide. Now we are on to simplifying and multiplying brackets. This one is a bit trickier, but it shouldn't be too hard. So you do 2 times 3, which is 6, and then 2 times 5, which is 2 square root 5, and then square root 5 times 3, which is 3 square root 5, and then square root 5 times square root 5, like I said before, it becomes 5, because square root times square root cancels out, so it becomes 5. Now you simplify that, so then and try to put it in this form, a plus b square root x. You're gonna have loads of questions. You're gonna have a few questions like this, so try keep in this form. 6 plus 5 is 11, so 11 plus 5 square root 5. There you go. Next question. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times minus square root 2, then it becomes minus 8 square root 2, and then plus 8 times square root 2, so plus 8 square root 2, and then square root 2 times minus square root 2 is minus 2. Then that becomes 62 plus nothing, since these two cancel out, so the answer is 62 only. Same thing with this one. Look at this, plus and then a minus. Once you practice these questions a lot, you'll see a trend, and then you'll be able to answer it faster. Like for example, me, I know the answer will be 25 minus 10, 15, instantly. So if I break it down for you, it's going to be the same as this one. Okay, so 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, and then 5 times minus square root 10, which is minus 5 square root 10, and then plus 5 square root 10, and then minus 10. These two will cancel out, then it's 25 minus 10. Same answer. Okay. Next slide, rationalization. So this one is a bit trickier compared to the other ones, but it's fairly easy. So 1 over square root 3. To rationalize, you're going to times square root 3 over square root 3. Okay, that becomes 1 times square root 3 is square root 3, and then square root 3 times square root 3, the square root is going to cancel out, so then it becomes 3. That's your answer. Square root 3 over 3. Next question. 7 over 9 minus over 9, no, 7 over 9 minus square root 2. Okay, now for this one, you're going to times this fraction, you're going to times both the numerator and the denominator by this same line, by the denominator, but you switch the sign. Okay, if it's in this form, of course. If there are other forms, then it's a different story, but you have to get this form. Okay, you have to get this form, flip the sign so that you can cancel out the surds. Like in the slide before, as you can see each time, for these questions with a plus and then with a minus, the surds cancel out. Okay, so if you do the exact same thing, here, the surds will cancel out. Okay, because rationalization, basically what it is simplifying and removing the surds from the denominator. Okay, so if I just show you, you'll probably understand. So you times this fraction by 9 plus square root 2 over 9 plus square root 2. That will give you 9 plus square root 2, and then you just multiply it like this. 9 minus 2, and then 9 plus 2. You solve this to find the denominator, and then the denominator will become 81 plus 9 square root 2 minus 9 square root 2, and then minus 2. Simplify that and it will become 63 plus 7 square root 2. That will be numerator, and the denominator will be 81 minus 2, 79, plus 9 square root 2 minus 9 square root 2, so this will cancel out. So then the answer is this, 63 plus 7 square root 2 over 79. See how there are no more surds in the denominator? That's what you're trying to do when you're rationalizing. Next question. So square root 2 minus 2 over 11 minus square root 11. This one's a bit trickier. It will require more steps, but just bear with me. So you do the same thing. Flip the sign. And then solve. Square root 2 minus 2 times. You don't have to solve this straight away, just break it down. 11 plus square root 11. And then you solve this. 11 times 11 is 121. Plus 11 times square root 11 minus 11 square root 11 will be 0. And then square root 11 times minus square root 11 is minus 11. Then you simplify the denominator. And the denominator becomes 110. And then you expand the brackets. Square root 2 times 11, which is 11 square root 2. And then square root 2 times minus square root 11 becomes square root minus square root 22. And then minus 2 times 11 becomes minus 22. And then minus 2 times minus 11 becomes 2 square root 11. All of this over 110. And then you just put them all in order. So hold on. So square root 22. Actually no, let's not do that. So 11 square root 2 plus 2 square root 11 minus square root 22 minus 22. And that is your answer. It's a big number, but just break it down, do it slowly, you'll get it right. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.